The year was 1962. NASA has just detected an anomaly in Earth's orbit. There was something out there emitting a steady pulse. At first, it was thought that it was an error in the detection systems, but further inquiry confirmed that the signal emanating from the object was indeed real. The information about the signal has never been released to public eyes. The pulse originated from a previously discovered object, what was thought to be a Soviet satellite. But once they were able to locate and capture the object, they immediately knew they were wrong. It was a metallic blue sphere about 2 feet in diameter. It was covered in what looked to be hieroglyphs, with lines connecting the symbols into what seemed to be a sentence. They were able to roughly translate the contents of the message with the aid of linguistic experts. It was short and cryptic. Remain silent. Without knowing what to do with this information, the team who worked on it was disbanded, until a second signal was released exactly 2 years later. 2 sets of coordinates were deciphered, but it was obvious they were not earthly. Instead, these were referencing fluctuations in the cosmic microwave background, the universal reference frame. One was located on the moon, and the other at the far edge of the solar system, where we believed nothing laid. Since the moon was an achievable goal, NASA, in collaboration with the Soviet space program, sent a top-secret manned mission to the moon in 1967, consisting of 2 American astronauts and 2 Soviet cosmonauts. Away from the prying eyes of the other world governments, these 2 superpowers landed near the specified coordinates and made their way to the location. As the site grew nearer, a 50-foot-tall metallic protrusion in the shape of a crystal shot up from the ground silently. Once they approached the skyscraper, a crystalline slab slid off the bottom of the structure, revealing a small, ice-blue button. At first, the men didn't act, fearing the consequences of what might come next. After building up the courage, a Soviet man calmed in, "Move aside," and pushed in the button. The ground violently tremored, shaking the entire surface, sending small dust and debris flying into the air. After 15 seconds, the commotion came screeching to a halt, and as the white moon dust settled, the crystal was gone, only to be replaced by a blue glistening staircase going downward into the surface. They decided that 1 American and 1 Soviet will go underground, and the other 2 will remain on the surface. As the 2 descended down the ancient staircase and faded into the dark, their signal diminished and contact was lost. Minutes passed by, yet they felt like hours. As the other 2 on the surface wanted to return to base because of their low oxygen supply, a glimmer of light was seen in the long staircase, and then a second. It was a set of helmet flashlights. They were safe. Once the 2 who descended came back into the light, the American opened up his glove to reveal a small box, barely the size of a Lego. It glowed a faint red light, and everyone understood that something was inside this. The explorers made their way back to Earth with the cube, and landed in the Atlantic Ocean in their pod. It was standard procedure for these men to be required to stay in a safety pod for 21 days after being in space in order to quarantine themselves, so they sat together in their pod, without their suits on, discussing the mission. The American who retrieved the box decided to take a closer look at it. He opened up the safe and touched the box with his bare hands. Big mistake. An explosion filled the pod, not one of energy, but of pure thought. Like water rushing out from a burst dam, information about another world raced into the astronauts' minds. The previous race of beings who inhabited the galaxy, their evolution from primordial sludge into galaxy-conquering beasts, their unsuccessful search for other sentient life, their desire to not be alone in the universe. They created human race. They found Earth, a planet teeming with life, but nothing intelligent or conscious. They filled the minds of apes with thoughts, desires, and drive. They began to teach us their ways. But as quickly as this otherworldly race came into being, they were destroyed. In the blink of an eye, their entire civilization, gone. Some other race, one that was completely unknown to them, wiped out 12 trillion life forms in the course of only 3 Earth days. Completely unstoppable, completely incomprehensible, totally merciless. The American came to. He looked around, and surrounding him were the charred corpses of his fellow friends, the only other people who saw what he had seen. They must not have been able to take in all this information without their own minds destroying themselves. I am that American. At least, I was. I will never be the same, knowing that our demise could happen at any moment, without any way to prepare. I cannot tell the public this, without causing mass hysteria and putting the ordinary citizens of Earth in danger. I now understand that our mission to the moon awakened something. We had failed their initial warning. We did not remain silent. And they are coming. Thanks so much for giving this a listen. My name is The Hand of God. I'm a YouTuber who focuses on paranormal stories, biblical oddities in both scripture and the real world, and other weird happenings. If you like this style of video, a like and a subscription would be much appreciated. If you enjoyed this story, go check out the original post from Reddit, which I have linked in the description.